You well?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you? Good to see you. Yeah.
All right. So good evening and welcome to TV47. This is the Daily Report and the People's Court by extension. And tonight, we are asking a pertinent question. Have we become a borrowing nation? My name is Linda Adelela.
Absolutely, and it's a very, very pertinent question because at this time, financial institutions are actually noticing an uptick in the loans that people are taking for short-term needs. We're talking loans for daily needs, we're talking loans for rent, for bus fare, for car repairs if you need it, for shopping, for food, basic food items, and school. And this is coming at a time when, number one, we're getting taxed more. Number two, inflation is high. The value of this 1,000 shillings, apparently as late as last year, this 1,000 shillings
supposed to hold,
was only worth 850 bob.
Split it.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
850, which is why I wouldn't let you touch it because it might just disappear.
This
is only worth about 850 right about now. The numbers might differ. The point being that there's a cash crunch. There's a need for more money for short-term needs. People are not borrowing for investment, they're borrowing for consumption, which is a worrying state of affairs.
Indeed, a worrying station. The situation has been so right from February. That is when the report was released. And of course, things are not getting any better in any way. And that's the reason why we have this pertinent conversation. We'll be having specialists on board, but equally the common wananchi. Let them share their experiences as to this borrowing.
And talking about experiences, would love to hear from you. How is your lending institution treating you? What are the interest rates looking like? Is this a matter that you actually need to discuss with the, say, the Credit Reference Bureau, that is the CRB, as well as other institutions? Remember, you also have the base lending rate. This is a conversation that you want to look forward to. Good evening and welcome. George Maringa, our sign language interpreter, is Rhoda Nyamai.
Before we get to that, it's important that we tell you what is happening in the world of news right here and beyond. And here
are the highlights.
Tonight on the Daily Report, at least 7 people have lost their lives in a banditry attack in Marsabit County. The armed assailants ambushed a lorry carrying 10 passengers on the Forole Turbi Road.
Lakini sasa kile imetendeka leo hatukujua na hatuelewi nini ilisababisha.
A woman and 4 children die in a road accident involving a personal car and a lorry in the Mbaruk area along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway.
He left his lane to overtake. Then, unfortunately, there was another lorry which was coming from the Nakuru direction towards Girgil.
Also tonight, the government is planning to introduce a significant new policy that will require Kenyans to pay for the use of certain major roads in the country. And ODM leader Raila Odinga now says that former President Uhuru Kenyatta requested him to engage in talks with President William Ruto to address the crisis stemming from the Gen Z protests.
Uhuru ndiye alinipiga mimi simu. Uhuru akaniambia mimi tafuta bwana Ruto ongea na yeye.
On X, formerly Twitter, you can find us at TV47 News, at Muyakane, at Linda_Alela, or at George Maringa_. Use the hashtag Daily Report, hashtag People's Court. That very important conversation is coming your way in a short while. Rhoda Nyamai is assisting on sign language interpretation tonight. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? And 8 people have been shot dead and their bodies burned beyond recognition in Forole area at the Kenya-Ethiopia border, while 2 others continue to receive treatment after they were attacked by unknown assailants in the wee hours of Tuesday morning. The incident comes just 3 days after a bulldozer owned by Ethiopians was set ablaze by unknown militants. Andrin Kilemi opens our broadcast tonight with that report.
It is along this dusty Forole Turbi Road in Marsabit County where 8 people met their tragic end, their bodies reduced to ashes after being shot and set on fire by unknown assailants. The victims were traveling from Marsabit town to Dakana area when they were ambushed and brutally attacked. This truck, now a heap of charred metal, is all that remains of their journey.
Sasa kile imetendeka leo hatukujua na hatuelewi nini ilisababisha. Lakini vile tunaona hii ni maneno tu ya kutoka Ethiopia ambao wanapigana na OLF na serikali yao.
The killings have sent shockwaves throughout the community, with residents and leaders alike calling on the national government to intervene.
Kitendo kama hiyo akiwa namna hiyo, kama hata sisi mnafanya vile wanafanya sisi, na kwa vita vibaya, vita kubwa.
Led by Marsabit County Governor, the leaders have condemned the killings, further urging the national government to engage with the Ethiopian administration to address the escalating violence and restore peace to the border region.
We, the leaders of Marsabit, condemn the killings and the lawlessness along the Kenya-Ethiopia border that has resulted to unabated and continuous killings, abductions and destructions of properties along the Kenya-Ethiopia border.
Ni jambo la kuhuzunisha. Ningeomba serikali yetu ifanye investigation ya kutosha ili tujue hawa wahalifu walitoka wapi na ni kwa nini wamefanya vile wameendelea kufanya.
Residents living along the border have been urged to remain calm and maintain peace as the government works on resolving the situation. Andrine Kilemi, TV 40.
Thank you, Andrine, for that. Tonight, ICT Coalition leader Raila Odinga revealed that the country's fourth president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, was behind the unity deal between him and President William Ruto. Odinga, who spoke during the burial of Mzee Chirchir Masit, father to former IEBC Commissioner Irene Masit, said the retired president asked him in a phone call at the height of Gen Z protests to speak to Ruto for the sake of the country's unity. Apollo Kamau gives us the details.
While attending the burial of Mzee Chirchir Masit, father to former IEBC Commissioner Irene Masit, who is in exile after the 2022 disputed poll, ICT Coalition leader Raila Odinga on Tuesday threw a spanner in the works on how the broad-based government was formed, saying the country's fourth president Uhuru Kenyatta caught him at the height of the Gen Z protests, asking him to speak to Ruto for the sake of the country's unity.
Sasa ile nchi inachomeka, Uhuru ndiye alinipiga mimi simu. Uhuru akaniambia mimi tafuta bwana Ruto ongea na yeye. Kenya ikichomeka hatutakuwa na nchi nyingine. Mpaka hii tuzime hii moto, watu waketi chini waendelee waliwane.
Insiders in the former president's camp have however dismissed the claims as not true, saying the fourth president has been against any talks or cooperation with the Kenya Kwanza regime that may appear to betray Kenyans. Odinga, while in the company of Ruto allies, among them Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi, dismissed the existence of a coalition agreement between ODM and Kenya Kwanza, a similar statement made by President William Ruto in his countrywide development tours.
William ndiye akanitafuta na mimi nikaongea na yeye wazi kabisa. Mimi unajua mambo yangu, mimi sificheki mambo, nasema direct. Magazeti haya wanaandika sijui nini Raila na Ruto handshake. Hakuna handshake. Hakuna handshake. Kile tulisema, mimi niliongea na Ruto nikamwambia shida iko hapo. Hawa watu yako ambao wameweka pale hawajafanya kazi vile wananchi wanataka.
While in Kibra's toy market, which was razed down by fire a week ago, Odinga said President Ruto approached him to help him run the government. ICT principals have dissociated themselves with Odinga after ODM joined government, raising questions on who is fooling who. Apol Kamau, TV 47.
And the politics continues. President William Ruto on Tuesday continued with his tour in the Gusii region for a second day, setting camp in Nyamira and Kisii counties. He began by leading a ceremony to lay the foundation stone for a cancer treatment hospital that will aid the wider Nyanza and Western Kenya regions in combating the chronic disease. And as our reporter Arnold Adidi reports, the president continued to advocate for unity among leaders, especially after the nation has recently gone through challenging times.
President William Ruto continued with his tour of the expansive Gusii region as the youth-led protests in the country subsided. On the second day of his tour, the president calling on leaders from all political backgrounds to support the ongoing efforts to unite Kenyans, emphasizing the importance of national unity and transformation. Ruto, who has been drumming up support for a broad-based government, urging those who may not currently support the idea to do so out of a sense of patriotism.
Juzi nimetengeneza serikali ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Nyinyi watu wa hapa Bogita, mnataka tuungane ama tutengane? Mnasema tuungane. Hata kama huyu mjumbe wenu amechaguliwa kwa chama kingine, niungane na yeye. Tupeleke Kenya mbele pamoja.
Ruto stressing that the unity and progress of the nation should take precedence over the selfish, personal and political interest of individual leaders, adding that tribal and sectoral politics are outdated.
Imefika wakati ambapo umoja wa nchi, maendeleo ya nchi ni muhimu kuliko mirengo, kuliko vyama, kuliko makabila, kuliko masehemu.
The president's sentiments were supported by leaders in the Gusii region, including Kisii County Governor Simba Arati and Nyamira Senator Okongo Omogeni.
Hapa Kisii tumeamua lazima tuwe pamoja na wewe kwa sababu ya maendeleo. Hiyo ndio tunaomba kwamba tutembee pamoja, tuhakikishe kwamba Kisii yetu na Kenya mzima iko sawa.
Sisi ndio wale watu walikuwa hiyo mlengo ingine, leo amesema tufanye kazi pamoja. Watu wakiroka mnakubali? Mumenipa ruhusa?
The president concluded his tour by launching affordable housing projects in Keroka, Ekerubo, inaugurating a road project in Kitutu Chache South constituency, opening the Kisii-Isebania highway, and initiating the connection of electricity to households in Bonchari constituency. Tomorrow, the head of state is expected to visit South Mugirango constituency, where he will lead the launch of a Tago market and inaugurate a road project in Nyamira County's Borabu constituency. Arnold Adidi, TV47.
Thank you, Arnold. Authorities are once again on the spot after masked men were caught on CCTV camera allegedly abducting former Kamasharia Ward Member of County Assembly Joseph Kimani last night at his Mathioya home in Murang'a County. And as our reporter Samira Mohammed tells us, the family of the abductees wants them back safe.
David Kimani Mashiri, a 39-year-old man, was abducted on Sunday at his home in Thogoto, Kiambu County.
Siku ya jana kama saa 5 hivi waliweza kumshika kijana, wakamnyang'anya simu, wakazima ile simu na hawakumwambia hata mtu yeyote wa familia mahala ambapo wanampeleka David. Na mpaka sasa hivi hatujui David yuko wapi.
Tulipigiwa simu na bibi Mashiri akatuambia na Mashiri hapatikani.
And 2 days later, his father, former Kamacharia Ward Member of County Assembly Joseph Kimani, was abducted in his Mathioya home in Murang'a County. According to a CCTV footage acquired by TV47, armed men are seen breaking into Joseph's home. According to their lawyer, Ndegwanjiru, it is alleged that the two were abducted after a court granted them bail in an ongoing 1.5 billion Kenyan shilling fraud case battle between Mushiri and Equity Bank, and that they believe the two were abducted by police officers.
Wametekwa nyara na maafisa wa polisi. Maanake walikuja hapa na wakasema kwamba hao ni maafisa wa polisi, walikuwa wamebeba buduki, walikuwa wamevaa sara za askari, na wakasema kwamba David amehusika na wizi na kupora mali ama wizi wa shilingi bilioni 1.5 kutoka kwa ile benki ya Equity.
Confirming the incident, Mathioya Sub-County Police Commander Paul Karobia stated that they have received complaints from the family and that investigations are ongoing.
Tulikuwa na tukio ambalo msemo mmoja katika kwa jina ya Joseph Kimani Machiri aliweza kukamatwa na wakora, na tuko na hiyo ripoti tunaishughulikia. Ndisi yao anafuatilia kwa karibu sana.
The family members are now calling upon the government to ensure that justice is served and their kin are safe.
Tunaweza omba ambaye ama ambao wamemshika tafadhali wamuachilie.
Samira Mohammed, TV 47.
Thank you, Samira. Police officers and detectives in Kakamega County have launched an investigation into the alleged murder of a 26-year-old man from Shehambi area on the outskirts of Kakamega town 3 weeks ago. It is alleged that the man was killed by people known to him before his body was dumped in a sewage, and as Violet Auma reports, 2 people have been arrested following the incident.
A somber mood has engulfed residents of Angwete village in Shehambi on the outskirts of Kakamega following the disappearance of a 26-year-old Meshak Matayo about 3 weeks ago. According to the family, their kin left home on the 26th of last month heading to work but did not return. Meshak's mother, Mariciano Ikobola, says that they have looked for him everywhere, including police cells and mortuaries, in vain.
Sikumuona. Nikarudi nyumbani. Kaambia jirani yangu nipomleke kwa mlango. Akapomoa mlango. Kuangalia ndani kaona tu manguo zote ziko. Na mboga yenye alikuwa amekulia ugali kwa tu hapo kwa sufuria.
Baadaye ndo tukasikia alipigwa na watu na akauawa.
But in a strange twist, self-confessed murder suspects emerged and spilled the beans, indicating that they killed him and threw him in the sewer. Today, police officers who arrived at the scene with the 2 suspects linked to the disappearance of Meshak had a hard time trying to calm the angry locals who were baying for the blood of the 2 suspects.
Nairobi tumeona Kware watu wanatoa watu. Tena Kakamega tumepata Kware ingine inatoka wapi? Kwa sewage. Na inaonekana ikiwa vijana wanaweza onyesha mwili iko hapa, pengine hata miili yenye watu wanatafuta yote ya polisi Kakamega iko hapa kwa sewage.
Residents have accused the government officials of dragging their feet in the process of recovering the body, despite the suspects allegedly confessing and even directing the police officers to a place where they claim to have killed and dumped the victim's body.
Serikali kukuja kusanya pesa ya risi na wanajua, kusanya pesa ya pombe wanajua, kusanya kwa kituo wanajua hii kituo inauza pombe.
The police had to quickly remove the suspects from the scene to avoid the wrath of the locals.
Tunataka sisi wenyewe tutaingia huko, tupewe kambuti, kulavu tutaingia, tutoe mtu wetu.
Kakamega Central OCPD Clement Babu said that investigations are underway to determine whether or not the victim's body was buried in the sewage or elsewhere, while asking residents to remain calm. Reporting for TV47, I'm Violet Auma.
Thank you, Violet. 5 family members died today following a grisly road accident involving a lorry and a personal vehicle along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway at Mbaruku area. Gilgil Sub-County Police Commander Jamlek Ngaruya confirmed the accident and said that the bodies of the deceased were moved to Gilgil Sub-County morgue, while those who survived are receiving treatment at St. Joseph Hospital.
It was exactly 07:00 hours. There was a Mercedes compressor, a saloon car, driven by one Abani from Gilgil towards Nakuru. He left his lane to overtake. The other side, there was a lorry which was coming from Nakuru direction towards Gilgil, a Mercedes Actros. There was a head-on collision. As a result of the impact, the 5 lost their life on the spot, and the driver was taken to St. Joseph Hospital for treatment. He sustained a broken hand and a broken leg. He is in stable condition and the bodies of the deceased, the 5 bodies of the deceased were removed from the scene to Gilgil Sub-County Hospital mortuary.
The government is planning to introduce a significant new policy that will require Kenyans to pay for the use of certain major roads in the country. The Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, announced on Tuesday that it is considering implementing a tolling policy on key roads nationwide. KENHA emphasized that this policy will only be introduced after sufficient public consultation. Once finalized, the policy will determine which roads will be subject to tolls. Among the critical roads being considered for tolling are the Thika Superhighway, Nairobi Southern Bypass, the Kenol-Sagana-Mara Road, and the Nairobi-Nakuru-Mau Summit Highway. Additionally, the Mombasa Southern Bypass and the Dongo-Kundu Bypass are also under consideration. Currently, the Nairobi Expressway is the only tolled road in Kenya. The county's public servants have been advised by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC) to refrain from misusing public funds as evidenced by the bogus imprest and other malpractices that are now reported. Speaking during a corruption prevention program in Nakuru County, EACC chairperson Dr. David Oginde asked members of the County Assembly to facilitate their oversight roles in a bid to ensure that the allocated resources to the county governments are properly utilized. According to Dr. Oginde, combating corruption in the county operations will increase own source revenue, enhance program and project delivery, as well as boost citizen confidence.
Privileged and honored to address the County Assembly and share thoughts and ideas on how they can help facilitate oversight, ensuring that the resources that have been allocated to the county government are properly utilized for the purposes for which they have been allocated. And them as a county assembly, it is their role to ensure that that happens, and where there are any breaches, they can deal with those, and also, where necessary, call the EACC in to come and see what actually might be going on.
The County Assembly of Nakuru, it's a major stakeholder in the fight against corruption, and also in as far as promoting integrity is concerned in our county.
Away from that, Kenya will host a global ICT conference next month that aims at marketing innovation to promote cross-border cohesion in the continent. The 3-day event happening in Mombasa will bring together critical entities to ensure policy adjustments meant to streamline operations within the 22 participating countries. Among the areas of focus will be data protection, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, as well as cyber security.
It is very essential that once in a while, experts, industry players, practitioners, they gather together and compare experiences and see how particular states or countries utilizing technology, how are these others utilizing technology, who is ahead in one area. There are countries that are ahead of others, like in areas of artificial intelligence. There are countries that have quickly moved towards embracing the artificial intelligence. There are others that are doing better in matters to do with the digital marketing.
The African Union, the African Continental Free Trade Area have done a lot of work in terms of advancing intracontinental trade. But how can marketing and ICT work together to accelerate that journey so that those conversations, those policies trickle down to businesses, but even down to livelihoods and individuals.
Now, ride-hailing app Farest has reduced its prices, which have been restructured so as to put into consideration the fuel prices, the maintenance and car costs during harsh economic times. Farest has increased minimum fare to 240 and the maximum commission to 18% effective immediately. This comes after drivers demonstrated against overall pricing and presented their petitions.
Consideration, we have decided to increase our minimum fare to 240 and review all our other fares upwards with a significant percentage. And we have also decided to set our maximum commission to the maximum limit that is allowed by the NTSA to 18% effectively. These changes are meant to create a fair and sustainable balance that allows our drivers